On this episode of the Girl Talk podcast,
The good news is that you can be intentional about building things that you want to do with your family. Hello there. You're listening to the Girl Talk podcast. My name is Carol.
I'm Kelly.
I'm Tricia.
And we are so glad to have you today. Also thankful for our friends at Compassion International. They are releasing children from poverty in Jesus' name all around the world. You can find out more by texting the word child to 800-293-1069. And thank you, Compassion, for sponsoring this edition of the Girl Talk podcast. Christmas time's a-coming. Y'all like Christmas?
Oh, I love Christmas.
You do a lot of decorating.
I love Christmas.
Is your house already decorated?
Yes. Have you started?
No, I haven't started yet, but I'm behind.
Soon.
I'm way behind.
Yeah.
Way behind. But yeah, our favorite decoration to put up is a nativity set that we have that goes in the front yard.
Oh,
yeah, I
Your
remember
husband.
that.
My husband built it.
Yeah,
Yeah, not
so
the
fun.
figurines. I think they came from Hobby Lobby. You know, at one of those 75% off sales.
Yeah.
But yeah, he built the stable, and so
Yeah.
we just love it. We love the we have people that'll stop in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They'll walk around the neighborhood, or people will drive, looking for lights or whatever,
Yeah.
and they'll stop and they'll crawl into our nativity set because it's it's large. It's big enough for adult human even to sit in there, and they'll take pictures with it.
Really?
Yeah, and it's so much fun.
You must love that,
So,
right?
Yeah.
Does that just give you a little joy
It does.
inside?
I'm
Yes.
like, look at this. Look at what Jesus is doing, even as a baby in a little plaster version of him in the front yard. It's really cool.
Okay, so those are some traditions that you have at your house. Do you have anything that you guys like to do?
We are not great at that.
Yeah.
We want to do more. We want to do more.
Well, can I just say that you got a kind of a rough go of it because you live in a house full of boys, and they
That's a good
tend to
point.
not be the traditional.
they're not
kinda-
looking to decorate. They're,
No.
they're like, nah.
Yeah.
But they do love the tree. They do love the
Yeah.
tree. So it is 100%. We've got to get a real tree.
Yeah,
I've
okay.
actually petitioned for the non-real tree because it's easier,
Right, yeah.
and you can put it up and you can leave it up. You could put it up earlier. You can leave it later.
You can put it up November 1st if you want to.
Mhm.
Well, do y'all remember one time we left our tree up
Till like
till-
February,
It was
wasn't it?
April.
April.
Because my mother-in-law came for a visit, and that was the deciding factor that we had to get rid of it before my mother-in-law came.
That's hilarious. I had forgotten all
And
about that.
It was in the back of our yard for another couple months after that.
It was a live tree?
I mean, it was live at some point. Nowhere close to live at that point. But yes.
How did it even still look like a tree?
I don't
and his
know.
needles
It
stopped
was
falling off
fine.
after
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah, we are
That's
still
hilarious.
finding needles for that one, but
I'm sure.
but they love the real tree, and so
Yeah.
they definitely want that, and so we do. We insist on that, and we do that, and it's a lot of fun, and we
Now-
do a couple of little things.
Are you before before Thanksgiving tree person, or do you wait till the day after, or?
We wait till like a week before Christmas. We're
Oh,
the worst.
really?
We're the worst. We just
That's not worse.
well,
That's
we're just behind. Often we're behind. We want to do it, and then something came up. So we kind of push it. We've been the people that scour social media. Where can you still find a Christmas tree?
and you
There
get
are
it for like
posts.
$5.
Yes, yeah.
You're
Half
smarter
off.
than us all. Yeah.
And we run over and get it at this place or that place. Churches often will have them.
Yep.
And so we'll just scoot on over there and get one.
I was so excited because my Christmas tree was not stored at my house because it was a rather large tree, and so I borrowed some space in a friend's storage unit to store my
brilliant.
Christmas tree, and it got hit really, really severely by the floods. And so I was a little concerned that the tree hadn't made it. I didn't ask, but I was just kind of waiting for them, and I found out that they went in and saw that my tree was one of the only things that made it.
Yay!
So,
Well,
yeah. And so they brought it over and they left it in my carport. And so I felt pressure to go ahead and put it up. And so I am typically like a day after Thanksgiving, dyed in the wool. We're not doing it until the day after Thanksgiving kind of person.
Uh-huh.
But because I hosted Thanksgiving at my house and because it was sitting in my carport, I put it up early.
Good.
Yeah,
How does
I
it
know.
feel?
It felt good. It felt good. Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'm usually one of those people that's like, nope, day after Thanksgiving, we're going to wait. This year, I was like, no, we're putting it up.
We need it.
Yeah, we do need it. We do need it.
One of the things I like about my family, my parents live in Florida half the year and up here half the year. And so we do Thanksgiving super early in our house. Last year we did Thanksgiving on Halloween.
Oh,
No lie.
You're-
No lie.
Really?
Last year.
wow.
This year.
Like the full thing with the turkey and stuffing?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It's a full-on Thanksgiving meal because they're not here. They're in Florida. So we got to do it before they
That
leave.
makes
And they spend
sense.
November and December down there.
Uh-huh.
So I can put up
Wow.
my tree
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Boom. Thanksgiving's long gone.
Fantastic. Well, how do you gals focus on Jesus during Christmas? Because one of the things that's hard to do is to keep your focus on Jesus because there's so much to do. There's so much shopping. We make it about all the things. And we all know we shouldn't, but we do. And there's parties to go to and gifts to drop off and all the things. So how do you intentionally focus on Jesus during the holidays?
Yeah.
The job here really helps me because I happen to be here and playing music that is Christmas focused, but it is all about Jesus.
Yeah.
And so that does help.
Yeah.
And we're here and we're listening and we're soaking in it and we're reminding each other of it. So the Light FM really does help me
Yeah.
to do that. And we want to do that. And then once you kind of get that mindset, you can carry it further throughout the day.
So I have to tell y'all, and you've probably noticed it if you've. It's been there since you guys have been to my house, but there is a. It's like an art piece. It's like a scroll almost with two wooden. It's like a piece of paper in between two wooden frames, and it has the words to "O Holy Night" on it. Have you ever noticed that? It hangs over there
Yes.
year round.
Oh,
I
that's nice.
never take it down.
It's great.
My friend Casey gave it to me, and I love it so much because I love that Christmas song. And it's the words to that Christmas song on that piece of art, and I just never take it down. So it's there all year long.
Yeah.
So do you notice it during Christmas then, or is it become so much of the background of your house?
I notice it at different times during
Oh,
the year.
that's
Like
so
it can
good.
be February 8th, and I'll be like,
Oh, that's
fall
nice.
on your knees here.
Oh, holy night.
Yeah. It's that's a good thing. But to focus on, I usually sometime right around maybe Thanksgiving, but I always choose like either an Advent devotional or some
Yes.
kind of Christmas themed devotional that helps me to read and understand and maybe even take a new look at the Christmas story of things maybe I haven't heard before, because I've been around church my whole life, and it's easy to get kind of stale in your appreciation and love for the Christmas story, but that's where it all began.
Yeah.
And I don't want that to happen, but sometimes
Yeah.
it does, because you're like, oh, I've heard all that. And so I try to find that, usually around Thanksgiving sometime. I try to find a good Advent or Christmas devotional that I can do. Some friends of mine that I always wanted to do this, but I never did. But when I lived close to them, is when I lived in Boone, and they had an Advent log, and they would light a candle every night, and they would invite me over. This was early, before I had kids, or I had my kid, but they would invite me over and light a Advent candle and do a family devotional every night.
So
And I
good.
always
Beautiful.
wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do it. I've never done that, but I think that's a really neat.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Methodist tradition,
Yeah.
and so we have a Advent
Log.
wreath.
Yeah.
And so with 4 candles on it, and I put one up at my house. Well, my parents did this when I was growing up. I'm not very good at rituals like that. But I have the wreath, and I have the 4 candles, and when I'm really on top of it, I will do the I
Lighting
light
of
the
each candle.
candles,
Yeah.
and I read the devotion, and then we have the song that we sang every single night. We did the family devotion thing too with the Advent candle, and we
What song?
have a song. I don't know. Light the Advent candle one. Now the waiting has begun. There's probably more to it. I know there's more to it, but that's the
Advent
tune of it.
song.
That's an
Yeah.
Advent song. And so there's a verse each week. You add a new verse to it,
Oh.
and so there's the four verses. It's a really cool tradition that
I
we
like
did when I
it.
was
Yeah,
growing up.
yeah.
And
They
I
had a
wanted-
candle for every night, if
Oh, wow.
I'm not mistaken.
that's
I think
great.
that's right. And it was because they lit a different candle every night. It's
Yeah.
such a beautiful tradition. I wish I had
Yeah.
done it, but I haven't done that yet.
Well, we still
Yeah.
can.
Maybe
We
there's
still
time,
can.
yeah.
There's time.
And that's kind of how I felt too. I really wish that I could carry on that tradition
Right.
Yeah.
with my family, but I'm like, Tricia here, and I got the boys in my house, and they're not interested in tradition.
gonna-
So it's
Yeah.
just me, and singing by yourself, lighting a candle just
Yeah.
feels weird.
Yeah.
So I
Maybe we
stopped.
could do a Zoom advent.
We can do it. Yeah,
together.
why
Just
not?
the three of us.
We'll
every
do
night.
it.
Yeah.
We'll light a
You'll
candle.
have to
and
lead us in that
sing.
song. I like it very
I'll
much.
lead you in the song.
Let's
yes.
do it.
But we need traditions.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
remembering this, that we need them because we're so busy, and one day kind of goes into the next and the next, especially when you add things like I've got to buy this gift and that gift, and we've got to be ready for this holiday concert. It can just lump into one big thing, but those traditions make us stop and think.
Yeah.
They make us remember why Christmas is so important, and to focus on Jesus, and so it's very good.
And I want to just speak I'm not going to cry during this episode. I'm not going to do it. But I want to speak
Okay,
to somebody who may be thinking, because this is going to be our second Christmas without my mom, but she passed away on December the 1st. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't really even remember much of Christmas last year. It just seemed to I don't know where I was or where my head was at, but I just don't even remember it. And so this year, it's really been, I was sitting in an eye appointment the other day, and I looked up, and there was a lady, and she reminded me so much of my mother, so much. Like, she was dressed like my mother would dress. She had some of the features my mother, her hair was done perfect. It was just, and it reminded me that, and I thought again, so my dad's birthday is January 4th. She passed on December the 1st. And that's just like that whole holiday season is so hard. And I will say that it is hard for some people, especially if you're missing somebody. Mm-hmm. But I am trying so hard this year to be intentional about building things in my family life so that I can be present and grieve well, but also celebrate well. Because my mom loved Christmas, and my dad did not. I mean, he liked it. He was fine with it, but we would open our presents. He'd say, "Let me see what I got you." That was the extent of. My mom did Christmas to the nines, though. And so there's a lot of memories and a lot of traditions that maybe are hard for you, and it's a lot of time when you're with family who may not believe the same way. There's a lot of emotional, but I don't want to in any way, shape, or form, set ourselves up for failure here with expectations and all that, because it can be very hard, but that are not in any way. I mean, I think some of last year I felt like I shouldn't even celebrate Christmas because my mom had just passed, and it had been a long goodbye, and there was some guilt there for even celebrating. But I just want to speak to that for a second, because I think it's honest, and it's not always easy to do that because people have baggage, and people have memories, and people have grief that they're going through. So give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. And allow some of those things to refresh you, not to drain you.
Yeah. Do you have a plan, Carol, for how to kind of bring in the spirit of your mama, in the memory of your mama, into your Christmas celebrations this year?
We've been I don't know. I guess it's because we're coming up on a year, but we've been my daughter and I, because I immediately after I got done with my eye appointment, I got in the car and I called her and I was like, "You are not going to believe who I just sat across." And I said, if she could have been Nana's sister. And she was like, "Oh." And so we were telling Nana stories. My mom, we're telling a lot of stories, I think, because this is the 1 year anniversary. So we're remembering her that way. And, I don't really have any intentional plans yet, but I'm realizing I need to make some because if not, you can be overcome by grief, and you can let that be the only thing that defines your holiday season. And I think that's the case for a lot of people, whether or not you're your loved one passed away at Christmas or not. I think some people really struggle with that because grief is such a weird process. And
Complicated.
it is complicated. And I guess a process is not the word I need to use, but it's such a,
you just have to experience it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
1 minute it's one thing and the next minute it's something else, and that has to be okay.
yeah.
And I'm glad you asked Carol that question, and we could ask you, if you're grieving someone, to have a plan is a good idea.
Yeah.
And an escape plan.
Yeah.
Because if you are in the middle of a get-together, whether it's family or a work or whatever it is, with friends, and you are feeling overcome, you need to be able to get yourself out of that position.
So good.
At Grief Share, they talk about that a lot. Make sure you have a plan.
I had a really practical story about that real quick.
Yeah.
I went to, right after my dad passed, I went to a birthday party for my best friend's dad and her father-in-law. And I didn't even think anything about it leading up to it. And I got there and they started singing Happy Birthday. I completely came apart at the seams. And I had to leave. I just left. And I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. And it had never occurred to me before that.
Yeah.
And so I love that you said give yourself a permission and a plan to kind of get out if you need to.
They say things like drive yourself to these events, because
Such a
say
good
if that
point.
happened to you and you had to wait for friends and
Yeah.
So be thoughtful about that, or tell a trusted friend who can help you if you are in need.
And there are a lot, I know hospice and a lot of organizations that do remembrance services around this time of year so that people can process that grief and be with other people who understand it. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I didn't mean to bring the whole episode down.
No,
because
it's important.
I think it's probably where a lot of people are.
Yeah, it is.
And even some people, even if they haven't had a major loss of life, still might not feel holly jolly. And that's okay too.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
gone through a lot.
Sure.
And just culturally, yes, but also individually.
And with regionally with the storm.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot to grieve.
There's
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
a lot of feelings. And that's okay, because God gave us our feelings and we don't have to deny them.
Right.
We just go to Him for
Yeah.
the help.
And I think in times of loss too, it's important for us to remember what we do have and
Yes.
cling to that.
Yeah.
You know, and spend time with loved ones when you can, and make the season as not focused on the stuff. That's one of the lessons really from Helene as well, is stuff can be taken away in a heartbeat. And so do we really need more stuff? But if we lose people and we can't get that time back with people. If it's people we really love spending time with, you don't have to worry about spending time with those people you don't like spending time with. Don't make more time for them.
You're giving us permission to avoid some of those moments. Okay.
Right, to avoid the
Drive
people
yourself.
that hurt.
Yeah.
Drive
Drive
yourself.
yourself.
So you can leave when the people get crazy.
Yeah.
But find some of those times to make memories that you can cling to in future years.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So how do we release those expectations that tend to be, I love Pinterest. You won't find a girl that I love more than Pinterest, that loves Pinterest more. But I sometimes pin I want to decorate my house like that, or I want to fix that, or do I want to do that? Why are you laughing at me?
I'm not laughing at you.
Okay.
Actually, I'm
You're
just
laughing
thinking
with me.
about my own Pinterest habits.
Yeah.
And, looking at that kind of thing, yes, the making of the food thing, yes, that's my love language. The decorating of the things, no, not a thing.
You don't
Not
like
something I'm interested.
really?
I mean, I love decorating, but it is going to look exactly the same year after year after year after year. I'm going to take a picture of it so that when I take it out of the box, I know exactly where it's going to go back. And I don't really want to get in the middle of going to Pinterest and then feeling like I need to do something, because that's just all that added stress.
And if that's where you live, then don't look at Pinterest.
I don't have a Pinterest account.
Well, I do. So if
probably smart.
y'all get a hankering for it, you can come see me. But I think a lot of that, let's just get off Pinterest, but social media too.
Yeah.
When somebody decorates their house and then they post pictures, you're like, oh, that's so pretty.
Yeah.
And I want to do the icicle lights, and I want to.
Yes. I wish I had somebody that would climb up on my house and put string lights
can-
up
I
there.
saw
You
a
can hire
sign.
people now.
I saw a sign for
Yeah,
that, and I
right.
thought to
It's true.
myself, do they come with their own lights?
Yes.
I'll pay for that.
They do, but they are very expensive.
Yeah. It
Very.
takes a
Start
lot
a
of money.
GoFundMe. Give Tricia lights this year.
Right. I love it.
Line up, Tricia.
I love it. That's awesome. Give yourself grace. Enjoy the holiday for what it is. It is the birth of our Savior. And we can all slow down and remember that and grab a hot mug of whatever it is that you like to drink, Russian tea, coffee, sit in front of a fire. Or if you don't have a fire like me, you can put one on your television screen and pretend like you have
There
a
you
fire. And
go.
you can also pretend like it's snowing outside, which I'm not sure we're going to get that either. But enjoy the holiday for what it is. Slow down, take some time, focus on Jesus, and know that you're loved. We are so glad that you join us here for the Girl Talk podcast. We do this for you so that you can improve your relationship with Jesus and with other girls. And if you'd like to send us a prayer request or maybe something you'd like to hear on the podcast, you can always email us at girltalk@thelightfm.org. And we want to say a very special thank you to our friends at Compassion International. They're releasing children from poverty in Jesus' name. You can find all about where they're at work and what they're doing by texting the word child to 800-293-1069. Thank you, Compassion, for sponsoring this edition of the Girl Talk podcast. And we'll see you next time. We're saving you a seat right here around the table at the Girl Talk podcast.